Hey, Pete, welcome back to the show.
Jason, thank you. It's been a little while. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you're getting old when people that you've had on the show, it's been years and years. But for the people that have not checked out the previous episodes, tell us who you are, what you do.
I am the CEO of Databox. We're a business intelligence software company. We focus in on small and mid-sized businesses, mid-market businesses, with an easier to adopt tool. And our goal is to get everybody in your company familiar with data and using it to make decisions on the daily,
That's
which is a little
awesome.
different than most other BI tools.
Yeah, and your background, you came from HubSpot,
I
right?
did,
Did
yeah,
you work
yeah.
for anybody before HubSpot?
Not. I worked for myself for a few years, and then I had a job out of school. I was an engineer, so I went and got an engineering job after school for about 6 years. Learned how to code, kind of as
What was
part
the
of
programming language?
one of those jobs. Oh, it was Microsoft ASP.NET.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Probably
Yeah,
Oracle database. I later learned SQL Server from Microsoft, and then HTML, CSS, all that stuff. So I built some web apps. So that led me to a nights and weekends project with a few buddies where we built a web app, and then ended up doing that for a few years for full time, scraping by trying to build a SaaS company in the early 2000s, which was a struggle before that term SaaS was really out
yeah.
there. And then ended up meeting this old guy, Rick Roberts, who was a sales coach. I needed some sales training. I'd never been formally trained on sales. So I ended up hiring him. He helped us really grow our sales. But then the business really didn't scale. And then he introduced me to his son, who was Mark Roberts. Mark was the first VP of sales at HubSpot. And so Mark recruited me to join the sales team. We ended up shutting down our startup. And so I joined the sales team there as the fourth sales rep and then the 15th overall employee at HubSpot. And I stayed there for 9 years.
And you were the one that built the agency partner program, right?
Yeah, yeah. Early on in the sales role that I was in, we would get marketing agencies coming into our funnel. They'd be downloading our ebooks of like, how to use Twitter for marketing, for lead
Uh-huh.
generation or whatever. And so they download those ebooks and the sales team would call them. And usually what would happen is the agency would be like, oh yeah, this looks cool. Your software sounds great. I want to roll it out to 10 of my clients. And then the sales rep would basically spend weeks chasing them and never hear back. They'd get ghosted. So along the way, because I had been selling some marketing services as part of my initial startup, I knew some of the problems that the marketing agencies had back then, specifically around cash flow, because they were doing a lot of project work in the late 2000s,
Hmm.
early 2010s. And so I figured out, oh, if I teach them to package up a set of services and deliver them on an ongoing basis, they can get out of what we called the cash flow roller coaster and start selling these inbound marketing retainers. And that helped a lot of these small agencies go from really lumpy cash flow to recurring revenue, where they were had long-term clients. They were delivering more value over time to each client and keeping those clients around. And of course, they used HubSpot to deliver on those services. So
Yeah,
that was kind of the genesis of the program. And now
very
it's
cool.
multi-billion or more than $1 billion in revenue for HubSpot, and I think probably closer to 10 billion in services
It's a good
revenue.
thing they listened to you.
Yeah, it worked out.
Awesome. I'm curious, why did you leave?
So HubSpot got big. um, there was a lot of conflict between the direct sales channel and the partners sales channel. It wasn't structured the right way. We built them as separate businesses, and in reality, individual prospects don't buy exclusively direct or exclusively
Yeah.
through a partner, and so there ended up being a lot of conflict at the deal level. And I got tired of dealing with it myself. There was an obvious solution, but it was painful to implement, and they actually just like put the final implementation of the right solution in place a year ago or a year and a half ago. And I've been out of HubSpot for 8 years now. So
Yeah, it's been a while.
HubSpot early days was really entrepreneurial. There actually, my story was told internally during employee onboarding as like inspiration for, hey, if you have an idea, you can pursue it, and you just have to work hard, do it nights and weekends, and all of that. And in reality, as the company got bigger, that got harder and harder to do. So
Yeah.
even in my role where I was responsible for 40% of revenue and had hundreds of people reporting to me, it was still hard to get things done.
If you could only got 10% of that revenue. Or even 5. I mean, come on, let's not be greedy.
No, it's funny. I think David Baker. I saw him post the other day on LinkedIn. There's like a HubSpot partner that was looking to sell. He didn't put the name, of course, looking to sell. And it said something like, doing 5 million, looking for 4 and doing like 800,000 in profit, gross profit. I forget the exact numbers. And like looking for 4 to 5x of EBITDA or gross profit or something. I'm like, oh, that's a nice check. That's I often wonder if I had joined the program early on instead of starting the program, if I would have made more money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but think about all the stuff that you learned. I treat everything that is just a lesson, even though I don't like to treat it as a lesson. I'm like, I hit grand slams every time.
Yeah, totally.
But have you seen, like, obviously you've chatted with agencies for years and years. Are they still having the same challenges in your eyes?
I think to some degree, but they're not the basic ones like they were back then, right? Back then, I think digital marketing was still new for most companies, even though it had been around for 10 years. But still, most companies hadn't really adopted digital marketing, SEO, social, digital ads, conversion funnels. Like, I think a lot of that stuff, most companies didn't really adopt till mid last decade. And so there was a lot of, I think, struggle for agencies back then to convince their clients that, hey, you should put X dollars or X thousands of dollars a month into this. And like, as we prove it out, you should put more into it. Like, I think that was a really hard thing for agencies to convince. And so clients are still thinking of digital marketing as like projects and tactics that they deploy instead of a system.
Exactly.
So I think that was a problem then. And then it's still, I'm sure that problem persists in many organizations still. But I think the bigger problem for agencies now is just the amount of competition and the types of competition, and that agencies are, I think, increasingly more relegated to the execution of tactics and delegated to lower level employees in order to execute them. And so I think the bigger challenge now that I see in talking to agencies is that they're not seen as strategic advisors, and they're replaceable by someone else, including like a solo practitioner out there that might be really good at that 1 or 2 tactics, or bringing things in house. Right. I think it's a lot easier for companies to.
Well, but if you think about it, right, like, I ran my first agency for 12 years. We just really did creative and development, and we do strategy around that.
Yeah.
It took me maybe 2 or 3 years outside of selling to come across. I remember I came across, I went to a Tony Robbins event, right? Where you walk on fire. And I thought it was fake at the time until people got burned. And I was like, yes, it's real. I did it. Never want to do it again. But they handed out like these Money Master CDs, and it had Frank Kern on it, had Jeff Walker, and they were all talking about direct response marketing, right?
Yep.
And that's what really opened my eyes. And still, there's so many agencies that don't realize that. They just think a pretty design, I build it, they'll come, I'll put it out there.
Yeah, they're not thinking through the psychology of the buyer and how to influence them at different stages.
No, not at all. And I think too, no one is making decisions based on the data that is being told to people, right? They're just going, I feel that it's this way. Like, I've hired so many agencies in the past years to help us out. And we fired almost all of them because they're not leading us. They're looking to me to come up with ideas. I'm like, wait, okay. Like you should be coming up with a strategy, and I want it supported by numbers. Like, what's working, what's not working. What do we need to actually do?
Yeah. I'm actually writing I don't think I told you about this. I'm writing a new methodology I call it predictable scale. And it's about helping companies set their strategy, turn that strategy into plan, execute that plan, adjust based on data, and repeat what's working, and then ultimately implement things that help them scale, where they can basically get more results from, incremental investments, lower investments, not lower investments, but smaller increments in investments. So, and so the strategy part, I think agencies really miss. And I know that many of them say we do strategy, right? But I find that they do just enough strategy to justify the sale of that next tactic or channel. So, for example, if they're going to do a website redesign, they're going to say to the client, have you done competitive research and customer research to inform how you're different from your competitors and why that's relevant to your specific customer segment, right? But that's the extent to which they'll do strategy. Or if they're going to do content marketing and say, hey, have we defined our ICP, our ideal client profile, and our persona and their pain points, right? That's the extent of the strategy. And so what I find is that they justify the strategy in order to sell the tactic. And when in reality, any well-run business sets their strategy first, and then tactics are almost irrelevant in terms of which ones you choose to execute. You could do any number of tactics to take your differentiated strategy out of the market, right? And so this methodology that I'm building starts with doing competitive research, doing customer research, defining vision and mission in a different way than on other companies, and in a way that inspires the team and the market. And then turning that research, where you know your strengths versus your competitors, you know your weaknesses, you know opportunities that you can uniquely action against, threats to your business, et cetera. And you know all that. And now you can say, all right, what are we going to do different next year in order to improve our business and serve our customers better? And then you come up with these objectives, and then the objectives flow into goals. And at that point is when you actually start talking about the tactics. One of the things off of most of this stuff, but I find that most agencies just don't put it together in the right sequence. And as a result, that's why they get delegated down into the org and relegated to executing on tactics.
Yeah. I mean, I love the SWOT analysis, right? It's, and that used to be an old term. I haven't heard about that in a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
50s to 60s, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Like when you were going through like strength, weakness, opportunity, threats.
Yeah,
got
it. I
was like, it's the SWOT. And one of the things too, I mean, obviously using AI can dramatically help everybody out. One of the things that I'll do is even just for training a custom GPT, just creating your custom GPT, putting in and having, or maybe even starting, I think like the process I would tell people to do is just go on like one of the AI tools and going, help me come up with my SWOT analysis, right? Yep. And then they come up with that. And then help me come up with my brand voice, my mission, my vision, ask me question, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Take all this documentation, create a custom GPT that you can run each time for your clients.
Totally.
Right. I mean, it makes it so much easier. I just interviewed one of our old members, Chris Dwyer. When he jumped in the mastermind, he was like under the 1 million mark, and now he's well over the 30 million mark.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he's created a board of advisors of custom GBTs. One for finance, one for marketing, one for sales, one for acquisition.
Okay.
And just trained it for this and just pours in data.
Yeah, that's the key.
Them.
Yeah.
And it just
that's great. You gave me an idea, because we're launching a course around this methodology, and like I'm writing out everything and with the team's help, and then we'll record videos. And I thought about it before. I'm like, we should have a GPT that prompts people with the right questions, gathers that information, and turns it into their plan. We haven't gotten there yet, but I think you brought that idea back up for me.
Yeah. I use it for everything. We've even named our custom GBTs like Marketing Mark.
Okay.
Our community manager is Tribe. Like it's just, we dump everything we can into these tools.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we use it. So we have open, we use custom GPTs as well. In fact, the marketing team created a GPT called Pete GPT that they feed customer interviews and market research survey data that we surveys we run, and then they feed that in, and it references everything I've ever written, which is a lot. And then it writes posts based on, the new stuff they're feeding in, but in my tone and with my, perspective on it. So based on it's written stuff.
I was chatting with a buddy the other day about, especially with the amount of content you put out, the amount of content, we've been doing this podcast for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have over 800 episodes. I have over thousands of videos out there.
Right.
Our great grandkids can have a conversation with us if you think about it.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Right?
Yes.
It kind of knows how we speak. A lot of times I go to my, right in dummy language as Jason would do, and it writes in dummy language as Jason would do, right? It's crazy if you think about it.
It is crazy. It goes beyond that, though. We use this other tool called 4.4. And what 4.4 does is it connects to Avoma, which is what we use for all our call recordings, and Avoma creates transcriptions of every customer and prospect call. And then it connects to Intercom, where our customers and prospects chat with us. So it's like thousands of chats every month. And then it connects to our help our tickets.
Help desk?
Our help desk. Thank you. Where it indexes all our tickets. And so then our product managers, our CS leaders, customer success leaders sales leaders can go in and say, tell me what customers are asking for related to X, Y, and Z. Or, hey, give me feedback on how I could improve this feature based on customer calls and tickets and all this stuff. And it's ridiculous how quick that is. And product manager just a few years ago would have to think, all right, they have to discover a need from a customer or a group of customers, which would involve open-ended conversations with customers. Then they'd have to zero in on a problem, devise a solution, go back to those customers, ask them what they think about it, right? Mock it up, all that. And think about hey, you can discover a problem and devise a solution for it and have pretty strong confidence in the solution because you would have listened to maybe 10 customer calls to understand what exactly they were trying to do. The pace at which you can learn and adapt is unprecedented. Crazy.
I mean, we have a custom agent, and there's a difference between GBTs and agents for everyone listening.
Sure. Yeah.
But we have an agent when someone applies to a blueprint or the mastermind.
Okay.
It will literally go out and research them on LinkedIn, on the internet, based on their questions, and help us determine an angle to help them. And if we can help them. And the summary it gives to us and puts it back into our CRM is incredible. And it's in seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy. I want to hear more about that one. We actually don't have a bot like that. We do have an agent that handles conversations with customers and prospects, and actually handles 50% of our chat conversations in our app. So if a prospect or customer has a question related to setting up the product or what the product can do or whatever, it's able to handle up to 50% of the questions. And the customer satisfaction score on that is 70%. Crazy.
One thing that I like, one of the most important things I feel for businesses to grow is within the first 60 days of being a new client. And onboarding is really huge.
Yeah.
One of the things I liked that Go High Level does is they have their onboarding is pretty spectacular.
Is it?
How they basically have people kind of monitoring this Zoom for forever.
Yeah.
And so when you want to get a question, you just log into the Zoom and then they direct you to wherever. Because think about in the very beginning, right? This would work really good for Databox.
Yeah.
If hey, I got this question. Because if they find things complex in a lot of these software tools or whatever it is, it gets people are I don't want to put some time.
Yeah, they forget it. They're deprioritize it, or they just give up on it all in general. For sure. Yeah.
Or think about for agencies. I always tell people with agencies, I'm like, no one meets with clients in person anymore.
Really?
right?
Everything's
Like
got,
they'll sell someone down the street and all their onboarding is on Zoom.
Oh, virtual. Yeah, that's a mistake.
All virtual. I have a lot of members that are really successful where they make it a point within the first quarter of them being a client, they'll go visit them. And they keep their clients for a long time.
Yeah, it's a lot harder once you grab lunch, talk about things, and get to know each other, make some common connections, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Just a lot of value to that.
Well, Pete, this has been a lot of fun. Is there anything I didn't ask you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
Well, we do have we have a program that we launched at the beginning of this year for agencies that want to sell business intelligence as a service. So as you know, I built the channel at HubSpot, as we talked about. So this is very similar. Up until now, agencies have simply used us to report the results of their services work to the client. So we have about 1,000 agencies. They collectively use us for more than 15 to report results to more than 15,000 of their clients. But this new program teaches the agency to go in and actually sell business intelligence consulting. So instead of saying, hey, we're here to help your website be better, improve your ad ROAS, or do content marketing for you, whatever it is. It's like, hey, we're partners here. We want to help you improve your entire company's performance. And we have a method and a tool that helps you do that better. So that at each quarter, we're not just looking at what we did and how it worked, but we're looking at everything that's going on so that collectively we can spot the opportunities for improving your business performances.
Very cool.
The most effort.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I just wish people understood strategy more and sold strategy more rather than just being the order taker.
That's the mission. That's my new mission. Yeah.
That really drives me nuts. When I have to provide that, I'm like, now maybe I'm a little different because I've been on both sides for a while.
You're an intelligent buyer. But yeah, there's a lot of companies out there that aren't, like you said, they're not using data as a way to measure what's working and what's not and adapt their plans accordingly. And they're not, starting with their mission and vision and developing their strategy and then setting their goals. They're doing it backwards or haphazardly. And so there's a huge opportunity for professional services firms in general, but especially marketing agencies, I think, to go in and provide that service. So that's what we're supporting them. And, they basically have the ability to resell Databox as part of that and leverage Databox to make that service tangible.
Very cool. Well, awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on the show, and everyone listening in. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like and subscribe. And then also too, I want to make an announcement that I made a couple weeks ago. Our agency playbook that we've sold for years and years that we normally charge $1,600 for, we're giving it away for free. All you have to do is go to agencymastery.io and get access to the 8 systems that we used, and over 20,000 agencies have gone through it and have got a lot of success. So make sure you guys go there now and jump in. And until next time, have a swank day. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.